Culture shock, you can have many, like, well, you have, feel the thing that you feel instantly, directly when you arrive, like the weather, eating. And so I grew up in a Muslim, with a lot of Muslim friends.
Oh.
And so, you'll learn about, differences. And when you're a kid, you don't care. Because you don't judge, you don't really judge, you just think about
playing.
And I don't know, it's really weird to describe how you can be hypnotized by the game. You can spend hours without realizing.
Hello everyone, welcome to ELSA first podcast. I can, you can, and we can. So in here we have Anton and we have Fadil. And so the first one, Anton, tell us about yourself.
About myself? Well, my name is Anto, even if it's a nickname for Indonesian people, because my real name in French pronunciation is Antonin.
Antonin.
Yeah, but for Indonesian people it can be hard to pronounce it, so I prefer that people call me Anto or Anton. I'm 22, I'm from France, and I've been in Indonesia for 4 months, and I will be in Cirebon for 2 months.
Tell me, before you came here, where do you go? Indonesia.
In Indonesia, I spent 2 months in Semarang, and after that 2 months in Makassar. So these two were for working, work in different projects there. And then I had a few days of holidays where with the other French volunteer we went to Bromo, we went to Karimun Jawa Island, and Dieng, the mountain. And then a lot of cities like Malang, Surabaya, Probolinggo.
It's cold right in there.
Where? In Malang?
In Malang.
I can't really remember because we only stayed there for a few hours. It was when we went to Bromo. We had to take a train to a lot of different cities. So Malang we only stayed 4 hours. In my memory it was pretty hot, but yeah. And then Surabaya, the last city we did.
What about the food? Do you like in there or do you like them here?
I would say, in most of the city, I would say you can recognize that Indonesian food, like I eat kind of the same thing everywhere, a lot of nasi goreng, a lot of mie goreng, thing like that. But I will say that maybe for typical thing, maybe my favorite was in Cirebon because empal gentong. I tried this, and yeah, I think it's one of my favorite, like really typical from one city that I tried. I think it's one of my favorite thing that is really traditional from one specific city.
Okay, so I wanna ask you about the kind of deeper thing. What's your music genre? Your favorite music genres?
That really depends on my mood. A lot of my friends in France, they laugh at me because they say I have a dad taste. I listen to a lot of old stuff, like old rock and roll from the 60s, 70s, 80s,
and 90s, right?
Even I listen some rap music. I used to listen a lot of things that were coming out, but now even for rap music, I have old taste, like rap from the early 90s.
I see.
And then it can depend on my mood. Sometimes electronic music, like I really like the Daft Punk.
Daft Punk, I love them.
French music.
French.
But they are electronic.
Daft Punk is from French.
Yeah, there are not many people know it because they are robot mask. But there are two French guys.
French. The first one is, I'm sorry. What is your motivation joining this volunteer?
I had my motivation was because at university, so I studied for 3 years at university in France, in my city, and I studied about Bahasa Inggris and Bahasa Indonesia. So I, been interested about Indonesia for a long time. And when I graduated, I didn't really know what to do after that. Like a lot of people my age in France, it's really common when you finish your study. It's difficult to find a job. So I didn't really know what to do. And I heard about this volunteering in France. It's called Civic Service. And it's very useful for young people like me because basically the government help you to go to another country, because if you want to study in another country it costs a lot.
Yes.
And with that volunteering it's not that much of money, and so there was an offer in Indonesia, so I thought it could be a great idea to finally come here, because during my studies because of COVID, I didn't have the opportunity to go to Indonesia because it was too complicated.
Yes.
So it was a good solution for me to finally come here.
Tell me the differences between Indonesia and France, especially the significant one. I mean, do you feel jet lag in here or culture shock in here?
Well, jet lag, yeah, when I arrived, because I didn't sleep on the plane, so I arrived at 8 in the morning, but I was tired like it was, like middle of the night. But then, yeah, culture shock, you can have many, you have, feel the thing that you feel instantly, directly when you arrive, like the weather, when
It's hot.
Yeah, and it's very hot, and because when I leave France, it was January, so it was winter, and when I arrive here, it was, yeah. So when I leave Paris, it was like 0 degrees in Paris, and when I arrived in Jakarta, it was 30, 35. So the temperature shock, and then you can have a lot of cultural shock that like the traffic, the cities are way more
Crowded.
Yeah, crowded than anything I lived before. People, you don't eat the same thing, you don't eat at the same time than in France, because you can eat basically at any time of the day. So that's a big cultural shock for me.
Yes. So Fadil, do you want to ask any question?
I really want to go back to the first. I want to start with your childhood, basically. Is it okay?
Yeah, sure.
How did you grow up, and how did you become what you are right now?
Well, I grew up. I grew up. So I stayed all my life in the same city. But I grew up in different neighborhoods in the same city. Well, for the thing that make me like who I am, can be different thing. But one thing I guess that is important is that I grew up in a big family. When I was a kid. When they were all my brothers and sisters in the same house. So I have 2 older sisters, 1 older sister, and 2 little brothers. So when I was a kid, when there was everyone, it was. Sometimes it can be complicated when you have a lot of brothers and sisters, because for the parents, it's complicated because it costs a lot of money. But it's also really fun because, especially me, who I was. For a long time, I was the youngest in the house, the last kid, before they had my little brother. So when you are the young kid, you having brothers and sisters is just fun. When you are older, it can be sometimes, you don't, you want them to go away for a little while. But when you are a kid, when you are the youngest, it's just great because, always people you can have fun to, you feel safe. So that was really important. And then maybe something I think that was really important is the second neighborhood we went when we had to change a house. We went to a slightly more poor neighborhood with a big Muslim community. And so I grew up in a with a lot of Muslim friends. And I think for me it was a big chance because unfortunately, some people in France are not really open-minded about religion differences, but not everyone. A lot of people are open-minded, but a small part of the population is really not. And me, I grew up having a lot of Muslim friends. My best friend for a long time, he was Muslim, and so you'll learn about differences And when you are a kid, you don't care because you don't judge. You don't really judge. You just think about
Playing.
playing. And but with the time, you learn that it was actually a good thing. I learned about their culture, their differences, and so I think that was a important moment of my life being in that neighborhood because it was a great experience.
Yeah. Because you are in the middle, right?
Yeah.
Number 3.
Number 4.
Number 4.
Yeah.
Okay. And you live in the same city. I don't know what the city is.
La Rochelle.
La Rochelle. It's on the west coast.
West coast of France.
And you never go outside the.
We do for holiday. We for summer and winter holiday. We always go to my grandmother's city, and this is in the north of France. And it's also really important for me because this is where all the family gather. So I have a lot of brothers and sisters, but I have way more cousin, uncle, and so we all go in the same house for summer or winter. So it makes big family, like we are 25. And it's also really important for me because this is, I think one of the things I've been the most lucky is I get along with everyone in my family. In France, we have a lot, we have a saying of, usually people come to see their extended family for Christmas.
Yes.
And you have the Christmas dinner. And you have a big cliche in France is the Christmas dinner is going to be boring because a lot of people, they like their brothers and sisters, but there is some cousin they don't like. There is an uncle they don't like. So when it's Christmas dinner, they don't really want to go. Me, it's not the case because everyone in my family, I really love them. So the Christmas dinner, actually, it's one of my favorite moments of the year because there is 25% that I really love in the same place at the same time. So yeah, it makes big family, but I think I'm lucky about it that we don't have too many family problems compared to a lot of other person in France.
So it's like pulang kampung, right, in Indonesia.
Yeah.
So when after we finish the Ramadan month, we go to our
hometown.
The grandfather and grandmother house. Yeah. So we kind of have the same dinner, but it's not a Christmas dinner, but it's
Eid Mubarak.
I was in Makassar during that time.
Oh yeah.
So volunteer in the other family. You go.
I didn't have the chance to be a part of the dinner, but I saw many celebration because it was a holiday week, so I could. In close to where I was in Makassar, there was a big street where every night people went, firework and having big celebration. So I attended to many of the celebration.
Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, I think it was great. It was for an entire week. People were celebrating every day, almost all the time. You can have firework in the morning, in the afternoon, in the night. So I think it was pretty good.
In Indonesia, if you live in like a village, far from the central town, you're kind of like, if you ask a person in one village, where is the house of Mr. blah blah blah, he knows the house, even if it's in another village. So the connection between the neighbors is very, very good. Is it in France? It's same thing, or?
In small village, maybe. If you go to a really small village in France, everyone know each other. So if you arrive in one village, and you ask for, where is the house of Mr. blah blah blah, they will know. But from different village, no, people don't really know each other. And if you go to slightly, a town, even if it's a little town, it will be complicated to have this kind of connection. Yeah, it's mostly you have to go to a really small place.
Vicky, do you have any question?
Actually, I'm kind of curious about your favorite game of all time.
Yeah, of all time. Well, it's Skyrim.
Skyrim, I also played it. You know,
because
the RPG.
Yeah, I discovered it pretty young. Actually, I discovered the game before Skyrim, Oblivion.
Oh, Oblivion,
So
Elder Scroll 4.
The Elder Scroll 4. I have a lot of memories because in the city of my grandmother, so we went there to holiday, and we had a room with a PlayStation 2 and an Xbox 360. And usually when I was playing on the PlayStation 2, I was playing a wrestling game, and my big brother, he was playing Oblivion. And I have memories of just pausing my game and just watching him play. And I was like, oh, it's incredible, like, because
interactive.
Yeah, and because I was already a fan of the movie Lord of the Rings, and I was like, oh, this is like Lord of the Rings, but in a video game. You can be a soldier, you can play with
slay people.
Yeah, if you want a sword or if you want a
bow.
Yeah, bow. Like, you can do whatever you want. And then in 2011, Skyrim came out. And my brother, he had it on the family computer. So I knew I was too young to play, so I play without authorization. I didn't tell him, but he saw he saw that I play because I had deleted one of his saves. So he saw a new character in his save, and so he knew it was me. But after that, he let me play, and yeah, it's my favorite game, but also it's not only the game and the gameplay, it's the universe.
Yes, I know.
Like the lore is,
itself.
I'm passionate about it. Like
the gameplay too, and character.
Yeah, I can watch YouTube videos that talk about secret of the game, about the history for hours. I'm just passionate about it. I think it's a great universe.
I think we have the same experience because I played it at maybe middle school I played it on 2014, and when I'm at maybe 14 years old, I guess, I play, my friend recommended me that game, and I was like, what is this game? You know?
Yeah, the first time you play
this game kinda old and maybe kinda rigid, the animation, but when I played it, I kind of amused because
it's the freedom.
It's kind of the huge map and the cave itself, the AI, the animation, and the story,
all the little story.
Yeah, the random story when you level up, sometimes you get a mail. I mean, you get a reward or a quest from the king, the jarl. And it's kind of cool because you don't get any game from that.
No.
Yeah. Because it is exclusive. I don't know. I can find any game that suits me more than Skyrim and Fallout.
Yeah, they're going to release a new one soon. Starfield.
Starfield?
Yeah, a new license from Bethesda.
I mean, I really love Skyrim and the series before, like Oblivion and also the third one.
Morrowind.
It's a Morrowind, yes. But I cannot play the previous one because I don't know, it's kinda the graphic itself is
but you can try Oblivion, even if it looks old. I'm sure you can have fun still today. I promise you. Sometime I play again to Oblivion, and the graphics are old and a lot of things are not
like jaggy animation.
But it's still really fun, like really fun.
That's definitely gonna go to my wish list.
Yeah.
And I mean, what's any other game you like?
Game I like a lot of strategy game. Strategic.
Frostpunk maybe, or Tropical?
I never played this one. I played one called Crusader Kings.
Oh, Crusader Kings, I know.
Crusader King 3. Just because I think it's kind of game where it's you have to focus, but you can also, if you want to go more easy. I don't know. It's relaxing to me because you don't have to have reflex or anything, just to think.
You just have to think, right? Yeah. It's kind of maybe Age of Empires, if you know.
Yeah, Age of Empire. Yeah. My brother used to play also this. Or it's not strategic, but in another way is Football Manager. Because I watch a lot of football, and it's I don't know. It's really weird to describe how you can be hypnotized by the game. You can spend hours without realizing.
How much time do you spend on that game? Right? You can
on Football Manager, I could check the hours I play, but because during lockdown in COVID, I had all day to play it, and maybe I don't know if I count every hours of all the different football manager I play, maybe 400 or 500.
Wow, damn.
Because I played since I'm 18, and you can really, you can spend an entire night without realizing.
Yeah. I mean, do you play also online games like Dota or Call of Duty? Maybe?
Not much now. I used to like a little bit online game. The only one I really played a lot was Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike. Yeah.
But I don't know, for some reason I just stopped liking it.
Why? Why you stop like?
I don't know. Maybe it's too challenging for me. Maybe
I feel that too.
Even if I can get good, I think the path to get good in a game is not really a good moment. Maybe I'm not good for competition. I prefer to be alone. And if I'm bad, it's my problem. No one is here to judge me. So if I'm bad in Skyrim, I don't care. And
you just have to create a new save game. Right?
Yeah, or I can just put the difficulty lower.
Or you can use cheat.
Yeah, because online game can be, can be quite and toxic a little bit.
I know.
And so Counter-Strike for a while, I was really focused, and I realized after a time that one time out of two, after when I quit the game, I was not happy because when you lost, when you lose, you're not happy about it. And I thought, it's a video game. You're supposed to feel good after playing, not really feeling anxious and angry about yourself. So, the only online game I play are sometimes MMO. Because that's online, but you don't really play against.
It's not a fast pace, right? I mean, you can go slow.
Yeah, and usually you play with the people. You are collaborating.
Yeah, not fight with the people.
Yeah, so I think it's better.
Yeah. Do you also play Assassin's Creed? I mean, from Microsoft?
Little bit. It's not my favorite franchise, but I played the pirate one. It's the Black Flag. It's the 4, I think. Yeah. I liked it because it was way more open world and
you can explore the sea.
Yeah, but I think it can be interesting because they have a lot of history-based thing, and I really like history. So I know that when they had the opus about the French Revolution,
the Unity, Unity, I played that.
A lot of people talked about it because it was really interesting about the history, because it goes quite in detail about the French Revolution. Yes. And so they do that in every opus. They go really in detail about everything.
Do you like Uncharted?
Uncharted I never played because I never really, apart from the PlayStation 2, I never owned PlayStation. So I never had the PS3, never had the PS4 or the PS5. So I never played Uncharted.
But you know the game, right?
Yeah, I know. And I know it's really good, but it's maybe not the kind of game I would love. I'm sure I will have a good time, but I don't think I would love it as much as a lot of other people.
Games.
Yeah, I prefer open world games.
Yeah, like GTA or Skyrim.
Yeah.
Do you like sport? I mean, basketball, NBA?
Yeah, I watch a lot. NBA, I watch a lot.
Do you watch the finals?
Yeah, and I was super happy because I'm actually a fan of Denver.
Denver Nuggets, Jokic.
Yeah, I'm a fan since I'm 6 or 7 because my favorite player for a while was Carmelo Anthony, and he played in Denver, and it's the first time they actually win the NBA. So. And it was good because in Indonesia it was easier for me to watch the match because here it's in the morning that the match are live with the time difference with America. So you can watch the match at 8, 9, 10 in the morning, where if you want to watch NBA in France, you have to watch at 3, 4, 5 in the morning.
5, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I had difficult time when I was
French.
Usually I watch the playoff a lot, but the playoff in France is at the same time than school. So when I was in high school at university, there was some day where I almost didn't sleep just to watch a game, and I had to wake up at 8 in the next day, so I end up sleeping like 2 hours maybe, and you have to go to the school at university, and your only excuse is, well, I had a match to watch.
It's kind of same problem with us in
For football.
Yeah, football, right?
Yeah, you eat for football because at European time it's in the night for you. Yeah, here I can barely watch football in Indonesia because it's too late.
Yeah.
There was a Champions League final not long time ago.
2 a.m.
Yeah, I didn't
2
have.
a.m.
I don't have the motivation for that anymore. So I didn't wait. I didn't woke up for the final.
So I mean, based on what you said, so is your favorite team only Denver Nuggets, or do you have any other teams?
In basketball,
Yes.
no, it's mostly Denver. There's some team. It depends the year because you know in basketball the team change a lot. So in 2 years the team can be completely different. So it depends really the player. There is some player I like. I used to really like Derrick Rose.
Ah, yeah.
So there was a time I liked Chicago.
Chicago Bulls.
But now there's not many players I like there. Maybe a team I like a little bit this year was Cleveland,
Cleveland,
the
Cleveland
Cavaliers,
yeah.
because I think they have a young team, quite exciting. But otherwise, it's mostly Denver that I like.
Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
Is LeBron still playing? LeBron still playing?
Of course,
LeBron is still playing on
gonna-
Lakers, yeah. LA.
he's
Lakers.
gonna turn 39 years
Yes.
old.
And he's still strong.
Yeah, and he's still really, really good.
Maybe that's it. I mean, we asked about Anso, about his personal life and his personal likes, and I think this is the time for us to close this podcast. And thank you everyone for watching, and see you next time. Bye bye.